Welcome to the Secrets Playa Bonita Panama review. Getting to the resort can be a hassle. It's on the complete opposite side of Panama City from the airport. Navigating the airport itself is a hassle. It is not a good airport. It's poorly laid out and confused. Now you have two options once you get through the airport and customs and security. Yes, they put you through security to get out of the airport. Your first option is a taxi. Runs about $45, and I would strongly recommend that. The other option is you can use a company that Secrets recommends. It's not good. They typically will pile you on with a bunch of other people, and it can take a very long time. Now, once you actually get to the resort, they'll take your bags, they'll get you in line to check in, and they'll put you in this atrium that you see here. When it comes time to check in, the first thing you're going to notice is the people aren't exactly as friendly as they are at other Secrets, and that will hold true for your whole experience here. One thing I will warn you about, make sure you have the card you booked the room with. Not the same account, the exact same card. It doesn't matter if it was compromised. It doesn't matter if it was blocked a year ago. Either bring that card or bring a copy of the statement that shows you paid for your room. We experienced what I would honestly describe as the worst travel experience of my adult life here. We did not have that card. We had our passports. We had the card that was tied to that account. We had a representative from the bank get on the phone and tell them that we had paid. It didn't matter. They did not care. I have no idea where this policy comes from, who it benefits, but it's something you need to be aware of when you go to check in. Now, when you do check in, hopefully you get this person here. Her name is Maria. She was by far the best front desk person we dealt with. We dealt with 5 or 6 people. Most of them were either unpleasant, they were unhelpful, or they were borderline incompetent. Maria seemed to be the only one who knew what she was doing and was actually friendly and would smile at us. Depending on where your room are, you might have to go down one of these endless halls. On the left, in this picture, it's pretty much open, and its stairwells, what I mean by open is it's to the outside. It's completely exposed to the elements. To the right of the rooms, you'll notice the floor is all tile. That can be an issue. None of the doors here are insulated. They are all just basic wooden doors. It is going to be loud. Just keep that in mind. In some ways, the further you are from the center location, the better, because less people will be walking by. What you're looking at here is the view from a normal balcony. Now, you might think off in the distance, oh, those must be, either settlements or resorts somewhere else, maybe across the bay. No, those are all ships. Basically, this resort is right at the mouth of the Panama Canal. If you have ever seen photos that they provided that showed an empty horizon, just a nice beach, that's not the case. On any given day, there will be 20 to 50 boats littering the horizon. It's one of the reasons they probably don't recommend you really swim in the water here. Just that kind of industrial traffic is not good. I'll get into more reasons later why you should not really consider swimming here. Overall, though, you can see it. This view is kind of nice. I'll give you some more views of it later so you can really see what you're entailed to. If the ships don't bother you, it probably won't be a big deal. Now I'm going to cover the area where this does qualify as a Secrets resort. It's the grounds. They do an immaculate job keeping these grounds together. This is a beautiful resort. It's not overly large, but it is beautiful. At night, everything's well lit, and you feel perfectly safe. During the day, you'll notice they use flowers everywhere, and they're constantly pruning and trimming out dead ones and putting in new ones. You'll see the grounds out there every day. They're constantly working to maintain it. It's weird. It's the one area where they really work. What I mean by that is, you'll notice the service level. Service level isn't good. Throughout everywhere, it's not good. I'll get into the food later as to why, the service level in regards to the food. But some of the servers, not good. They need a lot of training. You'll see, as I mentioned earlier, the front desk weren't good. The supervisors and managers that we ran into, they weren't good. None of them were up to secrets level. The amenities here, on paper, they sound good. In actuality, they're not that great. Good luck getting your minibar stocked. It only happened once to us. There's no snacks in the room, unlike other secrets resorts. They don't have anything except beer and soda in your minibar. There's a lot of things going on here that just are not up to par. And now for the beach itself, because that's probably one of the main reasons you're coming here. The beach it's okay. I definitely would not rank this as a nice beach. It looks good, I will give them that, but it has some issues. Well, first of all, it's long. That's not an issue. That's probably in its benefit. You can walk it, and you can walk for about a mile, so that's pretty nice. One thing you'll notice, though, if you want to swim, this is low tide. It's very rocky at low tide, and you can't swim in there. They actually red flagged the beach to keep you from swimming in it. Beyond that hut there, it's really muddy and mucky. It's really not something you'd even want to swim in at low tide. Despite, even pollution that there might be from all the ships off in the distance. It's got some other issues too. But on the far side of the beach, if you want to walk all the way down by the other resort, you find this. They actually have some mangroves. It's kind of neat. You can look around in there. There's iguanas in there, and you can find, we saw some other lizards and fish swimming around in the tidal pools. So if that's something you want to check out, it is a good walking beach. However, wear a pair of shoes. This is an issue. Why? This is what you're normally walking on. I have never seen so many shells on one beach in my life. All up and down this beach, there's busted shells. You will shred your feet unless you are wearing some shoes or are extremely careful. It is not that nice, pristine, sandy beach that you'd think of. Now for the alcohol. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons you're going to an all-inclusive. You have a couple of options. I mean, like I said earlier, they have beer in your room. But then they have a couple other bars. There's one that's buried away down in the lower level and packed away in the back. That one's more of a nightclub. We didn't spend much time there. You have the beach bar. The beach bar's okay, but they really aren't trained very well there. They're hit or miss when it comes to being friendly. They're completely overwhelmed because they are this only beach bar, the only option for alcohol outside. All the servers hit it, and even some of the servers from the adjoining restaurant hit it. Now, if you want to drink, your best option is this area right here. This is the bar inside the lobby. This is the nicest bar, and it's also where you'll find the most well-trained employees as far as bar goes. They can actually mix a drink here, where sometimes that's that's hit or miss at the other ones. Now, this one also tends to be a lot slower. At night before dinner, it picks up a little bit. But overall, this opens at 11, and you can go here and get a drink. Now, one thing I would recommend, if you're outside and you want a drink, take the time to walk inside and get one. There's a good chance it's going to be a better drink, and you'll get it faster. Now for a few quick tips here. You'll see some alcohol put out. They have like Johnny Black is out there and some other decent alcohols. They have more hidden away. If you ask them if they have anything else, they may or may not admit that they also have Grey Goose underneath that's tucked away. They have Corona tucked away and a number of other things tucked away that aren't out there in the open. I don't know why they hide them. Maybe they feel that the profit ratio when they use them is too low, but you can get them. Just ask for them and they will bring them out. Now for everyone who likes coffee, sometimes it's not easy to get here. This opened in the middle of our trip here. It's the cafe. You think, hey, that must be a great place to get coffee, right? Opens at 11. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's a coffee shop that opens at 11. Go figure. But you can get like frozen cappuccinos and stuff there. Your other option that is a lot more reliable is this right here. They put this near the main bar in the entryway. The bar I showed you earlier. This consistently has coffee there early. The only problem is they seem to close it up around 10 in the morning. You might wonder, well, what about at breakfast? Can't you get coffee there? We did a few times. There are a few times when we didn't. The service was that bad that you never got coffee. I wish that was a joke. But yeah, that's how lacking the service can be. Okay, now it's time for the food. Here's the Seaside Grill. You'll probably run into this place a lot because it's one of the few places where you can get food for lunch. Oh, and if you want food that you can just grab and take back to your room or something, it doesn't exist. You might as well call room service and wait an hour. This place here, the Seaside Grill, also has some of the spottiest service you'll run into at this resort. It just was not good. The people were not trained. It was not fun. Time and time again, we wouldn't get drinks, we wouldn't get the food we ordered. Things were always missing, and the servers just seemed to run around like chickens with their heads cut off. They just seemed to not know what they were doing half the time. And even to get seated sometimes took forever. Here's the inside of the resort. It's not air conditioned, but it is open air. It's not quite as bad as it sounds. I mean, granted, it's average temperature 90 degrees at this resort. But inside here, there's a nice breeze that tends to blow through, and they always have fans going, so it can be tolerable. But if you are not tolerant to heat, it can be a serious issue. You might overheat, and you might just want to consider going back to your room and getting room service. This is Portofino. It's their Italian restaurant. You'll notice on the floor, no carpet, there's no drapes up. This is a loud restaurant. I mean, this is a very loud restaurant. If you get any kind of people in here, there's nothing to absorb any kind of sound. The food is spotty at best. One major issue across this entire resort, what you see on the menu, as far as the description goes, there's a very good chance that you will not get that. What is actually delivered to your plate may be drastically different. Now, I mention this because it can be a serious issue if you have food allergies. If you have a nut or shellfish food allergy, use extreme caution. Time and time again, we received food that either had nuts or shellfish in it, and there was no mention of that on the menu. There was also times when something was labeled as gluten-free or something similar, and it would come with bread. So, yeah, you cannot rely on the descriptions in the menu. You can ask the staff, but you may or may not get a good answer. Communication can sometimes be difficult. Most of them, English is a second language. They try hard. They want to communicate as best they can, but sometimes it's just not easy. This is the Market Cafe. It is pretty much the only option for breakfast. You either go here for a breakfast buffet or you get room service. That's it. Now you might say, wait a minute, this kind of looks familiar. Well, that's because it's Portofino. Basically, if you go to Portofino, they make you walk through a glass door outside, and if you go to the Market Cafe, they make you walk through a side entrance. I have no idea why, but that's how it is. So yeah, this is your only option for breakfast. It's also home to one of the most miserable experiences we had as far as food goes. First day we're there, we didn't get coffee. Only one of us got a napkin. We didn't get juice. We didn't get anything. We finally just ate a little bit and gave up and went out and tried to hunt down some bottled water. Oh, and that can be an adventure too. The pool bar doesn't open till 11, and a lot of times they run out of water during the day, and trying to find it anywhere else can be hard if you don't have it in your room. One thing I will say for the Market Cafe, though, there's a guy that works there. His name's Balbino. He's a short guy, has a stylish haircut. If you see him, try to seat yourself in his section. No one's going to complain if you move. Reason is, he is probably the most competent server you can find for breakfast. You also will run into him a lot of times. He'll be bussing tables at other restaurants. He must work like 12-hour shifts, but yeah, he is by far the most accommodating server that you can find for breakfast. This is Bordeaux. It's their French restaurant. It does have a separate entrance, so that's kind of nice. You're not walking to the same place. It's themed a little better than the other restaurants. It's kind of funny though, a lot of times they have like American rock playing in the background in the French restaurant. Anyways, here the food, it's decent. Again, like everything else, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get like for instance, the filet here. Sometimes you'll get it, it'll be incredible. Sometimes you'll get it it'll be like leather. However, we ran into someone here. I don't exactly know how to say her name. It's Anjimara. She is by far the most competent server in the entire resort. She is the best at service, period. No one else even comes close to her. She is the most friendly, and she is the most competent. She actually knows how to be a waiter, which is incredible because no one else here does. No one else even comes close when it comes to classical service. But on that note, this is probably a good time to mention what happened during our vacation. About halfway through, there was a drastic change in the service level. It got much better. It still wasn't great, but it got much better. Turns out Secret sent in a manager from Mexico. He fired the head of the food and beverage and took it over. And I'm not kidding when I say overnight, there was a drastic improvement in service. It's sad that it had to go that far, but at least Secrets is trying. But it's been months. They shouldn't have to try anymore. It should be up to their level. They shouldn't put their name on a resort if it's not up to their standards. Hopefully, in a couple of years, this resort will be a Secrets resort. Right now, it's not. Okay, I'm going to highlight some of the food now. Doesn't this look appealing? I called it baby barf and bacon soup. What is it really? It's pasta fagioli. But what is it really? Well, yeah, it doesn't have any pasta in it. Basically, it was a white bean soup. This is a classic case of where the description on the menu didn't even come close to matching what was delivered. At least this one looks nice. This is a salad. Yeah. It's a salad that made no mention of nuts. And you can see there's nuts sprinkled all over this. If you had a nut allergy, you would not be able to eat this. You would probably order it based on the description, but you would not be able to eat this. I'm not even going to describe what this one looks like. I'm just going to tell you what they said it was. It's cockamamie. Granted, this was probably one of the best things I ate while I was here. I mean, it looked horrendous, but at least it tasted good. And don't ask me what's up with those red splotches on the plate. I have no idea what those things were. I just avoided them. You must know what this one is, right? I mean, this has become a fan favorite all over the world. This is a molten cake. Yeah, if you don't recognize it, I don't blame you. Basically, that's a nasty little brownie on the left that they said came with peanut butter, but had nothing in it. It was dry as dirt. And you had that splotch there that used to be chocolate ice cream. And this was as it was delivered. I didn't wait for this thing to melt. Then it's a little bit of raspberry sauce on the side. The one my wife got was even worse. I mean, the chocolate was pooled almost across the entire plate. But yeah, this is molten cake. If you read the description for this one, you'd be like, hey, this sounds good. It's a raspberry fruit salad. Yeah. That thing there that's covered with chocolate, it's kind of a minty paste. This is not a raspberry fruit salad. But again, that's how they described it. So if you go here and you order that, this is what you're actually getting. If we're talking about food, it's a good time for beer. If you're a beer fan, you get a few options here. This is Balboa. This was probably the best one they had. It's the most potent beer they have too. They also have one that's called Atlas. That's from Panama. They have Panamanian Light that comes in a can. That is basically water. There's a couple others too that they have hidden away. Like I mentioned earlier, you can get Corona. You just got to ask for it. And you can also get Miller Lite. You just have to ask for it. Okay, let's talk about what you can see here at this resort. There's a decent amount of wildlife. Right on the beach, you see these guys a lot. Sometimes you have to look out. They are so used to people and you're not paying attention, you might even step on one. Yeah, these are iguanas. They hang out here a lot. You'll also see these guys crawling all over the place. They're just hermit crabs. They're harmless, nothing to worry about. You're going to see a lot of birds. These guys here, they're fun to watch during high tide. They like to run in the water. And also you have these white birds. They like at low tide to go out into the tidal pools and scoop up fish. And another bird you're going to see a lot of are these guys, the pelicans. You can watch them all day long. There are tons and tons of them out there. They're constantly diving into the water and making big splashes to get fish. It's something fun to watch. Next, you'll notice these little holes. They're all over the place. You might not really notice them, but if you look close, these are crab holes. You'll find crabs everywhere. The teeny tiny little crabs, but they are everywhere. You also have some other birds, like this one here. You can get pretty close to these guys. They're used to people. I mean, they'll run away, but they're kind of I've never seen them fly, so I'm assuming they're just a land-based bird. Now, a warning for some people, it's Panama, right next to a jungle. You're going to get bugs. I didn't run into any nasty bugs, none that are real sketchy or looked like they could sting or bite or anything like that. This is an example. This was right outside our door to our room. So yeah, you're going to run into bugs here. They do have bug spray wipes in the room. You might want to bring some as well, because there are some mosquitoes. Like I said, it is right up against the jungle. One thing they offer here that's kind of neat, it's a jungle trek. You will want bug spray for that. You will get bitten if you don't. The mosquitoes will swarm you. This little guy's a Cody. He was just hanging up in a tree looking at us. You also get to see a Panama tree. It's kind of a neat tree. As you can see, you're going to be hiking with a bunch of other people and right through the jungle to an old helicopter landing pad. They also bring you down to a remote beach. This is Veracruz. So basically they take you all the way across the point and out to this far beach, which is kind of neat out here. It's nice and quiet. It almost made me want to hike out there by myself to relax. Here's another view of that beach. There's a mangrove built right in here, and it's got a rocky shore. You will see lots of hermit crabs out here. They were everywhere on this beach. Other than that, there wasn't much as far as wildlife goes on this beach. You also, if you're lucky, you'll get to see this guy. He's a two-toed sloth, but they also have three-toed sloths. He was just climbing up the tree to get some food. It was kind of fun to watch him go because, yeah, they do move in slow motion, even at their fastest speed. Now for sunsets, you may want to see one while you're here. You're not going to see one while you're here. The sun sets on the opposite side of a mountain. You're on the Pacific. You will see the sunrise. So here's a couple of shots of that. It can be very scenic. But again, if you want to see the sunset, you're going to have to take like a day trip out of the resort. Okay, now I'm just going to play a few slides of the resort in general, just as I go over some closing comments here. Again, Secrets put their name on this resort, but this resort is not up to Secrets' name. It is a disappointment. If you have been to another Secrets and you go here, you will know exactly what I mean. The service just isn't up to snuff. The rooms are not nice enough. If you want to see one of the rooms, check out my room review. I give you a detailed view of a standard room, and you can see some of the drawbacks of it. The grounds are immaculate, but it's just not enough to make up for all the other downfalls of this resort. In time, it'll probably get better. I'm sure Secrets won't let this go on forever. But if you want to go now, I would not pay more than $99 per person per night for this place. Yeah, it's on that level of all-inclusive. Right now, it's just one of those average all-inclusives that, you can get a great deal on, but it's just not good. The service just is not there.